Got some breaking news out of the White House now with a new cabinet resignation. The Secretary of Labor, according to multiple sources, and I believe now confirmed by the Trump administration, stepping down. She'd been facing an investigation for potential misconduct. Monica Alba is at the White House now. Mon, what do we know about the Labor Secretary?
Yeah, so Hallie, this is a situation in which for weeks there had been an indication that the probe into the Labor Secretary's conduct was growing. This is something that started months ago, and it was looking into the use of potential misconduct when it came to things like personal travel potentially on the taxpayer's dime that didn't just involve the Labor Secretary herself, but also some staffers. So there was an ongoing Inspector General investigation and inquiry into this that resulted in several of the Secretary's top staffers to be placed on administrative leave. And ultimately, two of those high-profile staffers left their jobs entirely. Separate from that, the Labor Secretary, according to the White House now, nodding to this ongoing probe, says that she is going to be leaving the administration and that she is going to be going to a job in the private sector. Now, if that sounds familiar, that's because that is exactly what the White House said about now former Attorney General Pam Bondi when she left her job heading up the Justice Department a matter of weeks ago. So this is now the third female cabinet secretary that we have seen in a pattern of Kristi Noem's departure, then Pam Bondi's departure, and now Lori Chavez-DeRemer's departure, that have all taken place and do resemble more of a cabinet shakeup for this administration and for this second term of President Trump compared to what we had seen in the first 12 to 14 months of the administration. You are now seeing a fair amount of turnover and change at some of these top agencies. And as for the Department of Labor, we know that there is going to be an acting secretary who is going to take over right now. His name is Keith Sonderling. He will take on the role of acting Secretary of Labor, according to the White House. And in their statement, they said that the secretary had done a phenomenal job in her role by protecting American workers, enacting fair labor practices, and helping Americans gain additional skills to improve their lives. And I have to tell you, Hallie, that this is somebody who was around the White House very frequently. She was constantly attending events. She seemingly had a very good relationship with the president. She had been in various cabinet meetings, of course, recently. But this ongoing investigation that did seem to have deeper tentacles into potentially other staffers, and again, this potential misuse of public office seems to be a factor in all of this that the White House is not speaking to, but that sources that I have been in touch with for weeks and months confirm was growing to be a larger issue that ultimately could have put this kind of pressure on the Labor Secretary to resign. And another key piece of that, Hallie, and I think a really important piece, is that she was supposed to do an interview as a part of that investigation, and it seems that she has now departed and resigned before that ever took place. Hallie.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.